Hello, thanks for coming. This is the first session behind the scenes, and I like to use this session to explain a little bit about the idea behind this series. This behind the series. Hi guys, hi everyone that is saying hi here in the chat box. And the idea, the motivation behind the scenes is that really we wanted to add value for you as a customer of TMS Business. The idea is that we at TMS, myself as a speaker, I'm not sure the English word, but the speaker of the TMS Business product line, should be more in contact with you, customers, users, and even if you're not a customer, you're welcome to come here. And the idea is to get in touch, that to add value to your subscription, to the product that you are using, because you now have your source code, you have the features, you have the support, you have documentation, you have updates, you have bug fixes, but we also want to add knowledge for you, even if it's not related to TMS Business. So that's what we wanted to do, to get in more contact, more constant contact with you. The idea is that we have these sessions twice a month, if we are able to. And that was the primary idea. And the idea of the topic behind the scenes came because it's hard to prepare webinars, at least for me, because we have to think about the topic, we have to prepare, you have source code and slides, etc. So that was what was preventing myself, to have more webinars for you. So we came up with the idea of coming here without a preparation, and to have more webinars, more chat rooms like this, so we can talk, you can ask questions, you can suggest topics for the upcoming sessions. So without having to do a preparation or a strong preparation in advance, it's easier to have more webinars. So in 2 weeks we can have another one, because there's at least there should not be a strong preparation for the webinars. All right. Do you think this idea will work? This is under construction. Okay, let's see how it goes. You can take it even as a consulting. So if we have few people here, come here, ask your questions. Of course, if you have more people, the idea is that everyone benefits from it. So, and also we'll try to keep it short, so you don't get lazy when you come here and think, okay, I don't have 2 hours. Sorry, I don't have 2 hours to to listen, or even if it's interesting. So the idea is to keep it 30 minutes, 45 minutes, maybe maximum 1 hour if you guys get very interested and have lots of questions. But so we have a more constant webinars, more casual conversation, and shorter conversation. This way, I hope that you can always come here and, again, get more value from the products and services you get from TMS. All right? Is that clear? Is that what you expected? Do you think it's a good perk that you benefit from it? Let me know through the chat during this conversation. And let me put a link here in the chat for you. And the idea is, here's a link to a support center topic that where we will update it frequently with the replays of the sessions and the schedule for the next session. So this is a pinned topic, and there we can, here in the chat, of course, we can talk during the session, but this chat here in the TMS Web Academy is not saved, and it's how can I say, it disappears after the session ends. So this topic here in Web Center that I put in the chat is a way for us to discuss. So after the session, you can say what you think, give ideas for the next ones, and topics for the next ones. Okay, because even though the topic is behind the scenes, in this first session, for example, I'll talk about what happened last week. So it's not exactly behind the scenes. So it's a free topic. If you are curious about things that we do here behind the scenes, that's okay. We can discuss about it. I have a list of topics that I can show you later at some point, the ideas for the topics, but we can talk about everything. We can talk about Delphi and Embarcadero. We can talk about software development, share experience. All right. So as I said, this is a first session, so I'll try to, for this, I thought about sharing with you some news about TMS business, around TMS business that happened, something that happened in the last couple of weeks, because maybe some of you are not aware of it. And the first one is that a blog post we wrote about this nice application here, built with Xdata. This was a customer. I explained in the blog that Vladimir, I'm not sure if he's here, but he just came to me and said, oh, after some support, after some help from you, finally we are able to release our mobile. I want to let you know about it, our mobile application. And I thought it was very professionally built application. It's a health application. It's a mobile application to control your personal health issues. Like you want to schedule your medications. You want to, let me see if I can open the application web page here. For example, you have some screenshots here that the medications you take, your heart data, it keeps this history of your heart rates, blood pressure over time. It's a very what catches my attention. It was a very professional application. So and the backend was built with Xdata. So I was very proud about Xdata and about what this customer made. Internet is not working here, but well, it's working, but it's slow. Sorry about that here. And there are many interesting screenshots here. And at the beginning, I thought it was a simple application, but it looks very, very complete. It even has some database of medications. So user can search for a medication and see the data about the technical information about medication. It's thousands and thousands of medication data. And Vladimir's, the author of the software, said that Xdata was very fast to retrieve it. And the application, sorry about this, I'm not sure why it's slow here. And the application is 5 stars in both iOS App Store and Android Store, Google Play. So it's a really nice one. The front end was not built with Delphi. It was built with, he said here, I didn't remember. There is an interview with him, so he explains what's going on, how it went. Where the hell is the front end? Kotlin. For it's a native application. For the Android application, he used Kotlin, and for iOS, he used Swift. So very dedicated front end, and everything with Xdata in the backend. So this is something that you can achieve. Don't be afraid, don't be scared, and don't underestimate yourself about what you can do with this. Any questions, any comments about this? Have you seen this before? Is this something new from some of you, or all of you have seen this blog post? Okay, unrelated topic. Thomas is asking about the new Workflow Studio BPM. Okay, let's talk about this. It's octopus BPM. Delphi GitHub. Here. Sorry, wrong browser. Okay, octopus BPM. Probably some of you don't know what is this. Well, let me give you some background. It's not listed in products anymore, and it was never listed. I'm not sure what are you referring to. I mean, yeah, it's new. Well, it's not new actually. It's something that has been working on for at least 7 years. But let's talk about it. Workflow Studio. Okay. It is. It's business tools, for example. It should be. Okay, it's true. We'll fix that. Scripter is not listed as well. Yep. No, business subscription. No, it's here. Okay, it looks like it is listed in some pages and not one. If you could send me the exact link to that it's not listed, I appreciate it. We can fix it. But in the main TMS business product page, it's listed here. TMS Workflow Studio is a product of TMS business. Okay, you have access to it if you are a TMS business customer, and the idea is that your end user, right, builds workflow, a kind of flow chart that you can execute. So your end users, you use this tool for your end users to make your application flexible. For example, a very common use case is that you have an order, an application that takes orders, for example, and one customer you have would like to send an email if one order was created, and the other doesn't want to. And one customer wants that if the order is higher than $2,000, that it has to be pre-approved by some sales manager, and the other customer don't have this need. So this tool allows you to that your customer builds this workflow. So for example, when an order is placed, you launch a workflow definition, a process, and then it executes. So it asks for approval, etc. Okay, we don't have time to go into details, but that's the idea. So it has some for example, some dialogues for your end user to approve or something. So the workflow usually has tasks. So for example, workflow starts and there is a task block here where something stops and gives a task for a customer to approve or do something. Okay, this software here, this framework here, was created in 2008, 2008, if I'm not wrong. So it's been 13 years, and it's outdated in the sense that it only works with Windows application, with desktop applications. It was built before Xdata was created, before Aurelius was created, even before, I believe, DataSnap existed. I'm not sure. So it was another time. It was created with client-server applications in mind, and improving it to support new platforms, to support multi-tiers applications will be a bad idea, because it would take lots of time and effort, and the solution will not be ideal. So we write a new workflow engine from scratch. And for you to have an idea, since they here behind the scenes, this new workflow started to be developed in 2010, if I'm not wrong. We wrote a new engine because we had a customer that wanted to have a C#.NET version of our workflow studio, and we rewrote the engine in Delphi, because that was I was not very fluent with C# at the time, and I was not the one who write. We had a collaborator who helped us. So we wrote a new engine in Delphi to be sure that it will be working, and then I myself converted the Delphi code to C# code. Of course, we wrote the Delphi code in a very abstract way. So we took care to not use Delphi specific things that we know that in C# we will have problems. And then we converted, and it was interesting because after this colleague, he wrote the Delphi version. It took me like 3 or 4 days to convert the code to C#. I did it all manually, and it compiled, and it worked in the first compilation. It was amazing. It was the first and maybe the only time that I wrote code for 3 or 4 days, and it worked the first time. It was amazing. So then we had this C# version, and then we had a need to another customer that wanted to have a better Delphi version, and then we wrote back. So this new workflow had 4 or 5 versions, and finally we decided to polish it and publish it on GitHub in this address here, github.com Landgraf/octopusbpm. And this is being worked in production for more than a year, I believe maybe 2 years, in real application. And if you are interested, you should go to develop branch, because the master branch is from 3 years ago. We didn't update it. And the develop branch, it's being updated. It's 5 months, but it's working. It doesn't have documentation, and it doesn't have any user interface. So everything is classes. And so you have to build your workflow in JSON. And the idea we have is that we evolve this to create a visual designer for the building the process, that we create a REST server around it with Xdata. But we simply we released the GitHub to see if it raised some interest. I know that it's an egg and chicken situation. Like, if you don't have documentation, if you don't have, we are not working with it, there will be low interest. But if this catches up, if you are trying to work with it and you see there is potential for you to use it, we might try to change our focus to improve this and add more features. Okay. I hope it's clear. Let's see the comments here. Workflow Studio is not listed anymore. Rick mentioning the SDK. That's the second topic I would like to discuss today. All right. You are guys. Okay, was it clear, Thomas, about your question about this new workflow? This is the new workflow. And the source code is in the GitHub, as I said. It just uses TMS Business, so it uses TMS Aurelius. For example, the old Workflow Studio, all the database access was manual, and this one is based on TMS Aurelius. So you have out of the box all the supported databases that Aurelius support, and all the stuff that you know that Aurelius make it easier to work with. And what's missing here is a visual designer, okay, that we want to add, and then start to building blocks, ready to use blocks for you to connect to Amazon, to create a task. It doesn't have a task management. It's a favorite of mine, but it takes a lot of time, and it's a big project actually. So it's hard to create documentation and make it available for anyone. The source is there, it's working, we are using it, but to make it a widespread product, it's a different thing. But if you are interested, get the develop branch and let me know what do you think. Okay. So, and the next topic, which is the second news of the week, is of course our SDK for Amazon Web Services. This is released on GitHub as well. It uses TMS Business classes, so you have to use TMS Business to use it, even if it's the trial version. And to be honest, I said here on GitHub, required libraries. Amazon SDK for Delphi requires TMS Business because life is short. And this is not marketing stuff. Of course, I use it as a marketing, but this is really sincere and true, because the history behind this is that we needed to connect to Amazon, especially Amazon's simple email service. And I couldn't find anything for Delphi to do that. There are some libraries, but they are limited, and they don't have most the APIs and things like that. So we needed to have that. As I said, especially for email. This is a topic for another session if you want to talk about email sending, email authentication, and things like that. So we wanted to use this, and TMS Business helped a lot to create this. It was like, I don't know, it's just a guess, but half of the time, because we already had some classes, the JSON classes, the HTTP, it could be done with Delphi, but at least for me, it would take much more time. So I just use it TMS Business, and it's here available. And now we have 5 services available already. So you can connect to Amazon Simple Email Service, which is the Amazon service for sending emails, and the Simple Queue service for message queues, Simple Notification service for notifications. Wait a minute. Sorry, guys. And okay, notification services, we can also discuss everything here. And Amazon Poly and Amazon Lex. Amazon Poly is a text to speech library service from Amazon, so you can send some text and it converts to audio. And Amazon Lex is to build chatbots. Actually, I wrote here chatbox, it's chatbots. Okay, and it has some nice features, like which I didn't find in other Delphi frameworks for Amazon Web Services. which is it gets the credentials from EC2 instance or from Amazon command line credentials files. So it's well structured, so you use it in production without having to spread your access keys and secret keys all over the place. Okay, and again, when I say other SDKs for Delphi, the services that are available over there are very limited. Simple email and simple QA, but we intend to add lots of it here. If you have a need, let us know. We might implement it for you if you are interested. If you want to test it, use it in production, that would be another use case. So if you have any Amazon Web Services that you intend to use with Delphi, there are hundreds of it, let us know, let me know, and we might implement it. Okay? Any questions so far? Comments? Come on, guys. This is a chat room. That's the idea. About S3, that one reason we didn't implement S3 yet is exactly because Delphi supports it. Delphi, you might ask, okay, Delphi has Amazon support. Yes, it supports S3. If I'm not wrong, correct me if I'm wrong. It supports Amazon S3, Amazon Simple Query Service, which we also do, and Amazon Simple DB, which I'm not sure it's being updated anymore. So it's just 3 simple services. And since Delphi supports S3, we didn't implement it yet because it's already covered, but we might eventually add it. That's true. And talking about the simple email service, don't you have that need? I find it amazing that this is not very discussed in the Delphi world. At least that's my impression. Sending emails, especially for the part of Delphi users that build server applications with TMS Data or with Red Server or DataSnap, whatever. It's very common that you want to send emails from your server application, right? And I'm not sure if you are doing it. Let me know if you are doing it from your application and what are you using it. Because using SMTP server, it's something that I personally don't trust, especially from clients, actually, because it's error prone. You don't have much control about bounces and things like that, and you don't have control about email delivery. So that's one very interesting topic that we can discuss. Email delivery for me, for our products, is a very important part, and there is a complete science behind email delivery, which is DKIM authentication, SPF, DMARC, and lots of configurations to use emails. And with SMTP, you usually don't have those options. And we use it SendGrid to send emails, but it's just too expensive. And okay, I mean, Google supports it. Yes, I use Google. For all our emails are on Google Workspace. But do you use SMTP or do you use Gmail API to send your emails? SMTP. All right. So that's the problem with SMTP. You have to use a query or simple query service. How do you make sure your emails are reaching the person, and if it's bouncing, etc. So anyway, we use it SendGrid. It's pretty expensive, So we migrated to Amazon SES because of the price and because we have more flexibility, because we now have the API. With SandyGrid, we have a very simple API. We are happy. We are happy, and we are opening lots of doors with this Amazon SDK, and I hope you benefit from it. Okay, question here. You have a question? Or you have a... All right, if you have questions, let me know. So, and about this Poly and Lex, for you to have an idea, we implemented this because we were invited. We were invited to Summit Desktop First. This is an event that Embarcadero is sponsoring. Desktop First UX Summit 2021. It's a big event about desktop development and also user interface and user experience development, and it will happen from August 30 until September 3rd. Again, are you aware of this? Have you already registered? There are many people registered there, and we were invited for a session about artificial intelligence and user interface. So this was built having this session in mind. So in this session, I will present the use of this. So if you are interested, register for the Desktop First and put in your calendar to watch my session. I'll be there live it's a pre-recorded one, but I'll be there live for questions and answers. And I will show real working example about using Poly and using Amazon Lex. And I'm organizing that. I will put the link, I'll put the source code in a GitHub repository for you to learn from it. And if you are curious to see how it's going, it's very interesting. So this is next week, there will be an example about it. About this, I believe it's published already. This event will have lots of TMS guys. So we have lots of sessions here. Dr. Holger Flick will talk about, here is myself, August 31, artificial intelligence and UI UX. And I'll talk about Xdata client techniques. Just the features that we have that we don't have in other frameworks, like the interfaces and the query builder, Xdata query builder, Aurelius dataset, and things like that. And we have Bruno Fearens talking about web technology, Red Studio 11 preview, and Holger Flick talking about high DPI interfaces. So be there, and it will be interesting. And that's related to this topic about Amazon Web Services. Okay? And as a curiosity, this is big. Amazon SDK is already, let me compile it here for you. I believe it's almost 100,000 lines. The APIs are huge, especially Amazon SES and Amazon Lex. The interesting about Amazon Lex is that you can build your robots, your chatbots dynamically. So I'll try to get deeper into it in more articles and videos. Yeah, it's more than 100,000 lines. Imagine when more services will be added here. If you had 50 services, there will be 5 million lines of code here. It's incredible. Okay, guys, you've seen this. Let me close it here. I don't know why this happened in my Delphi. Uh, everything is slow here. Sorry, guys. In the meanwhile, let's see the. Yeah, I really like the TMS Web Academy, but I hope to see you guys at TMS Day soon. True. Me too. It will be very good to implement a developer UI against Lex, similar to Workflow Studio. I don't know how would it be, but let us know your ideas. That would be interesting indeed. AWS Lex sample. Okay, this is a teaser. Don't tell Jim McKeith that I showed you this, please. My machine is crawling. Man. What's this? Just a small teaser. Not sure if you can see it, if it's too small, but I said here, I like to buy flowers. This is normal river. It's getting the credentials. What type of flowers would you like to order? Roses. What day do you want the roses to be picked up? Things like that. Okay, enough. See you next week at the Desktop First Summit. All right. So guys, as I said, the idea is to have a short session so you don't get lazy to come in a few weeks. And let me put the link again. This is where we'll continue this behind the scenes sessions. All right. This is the place. Go there, discuss there. You are a little bit shy here. Also remember that TMS Web Academy has the option to open the microphones for you, the attendants. So in case you prefer to ask questions via audio, we can discuss it here. Of course, we try to make it interesting for everyone. We'll try to not focus on a specific question from a specific customers, but if you have general questions, of course, questions that are interesting for everyone, we can open the microphone, we can discuss. You can write questions in the chat. Let's try to make it dynamic, okay? And this was a first one, a basic one, to introduce you to the series. The idea is not to have one shot. This is a marathon. I hope you benefit from it. Let me know through this link, through this topic, your ideas and your suggestions. I will give my suggestions, of course, so you don't have to, if you want to just have the topics covered for you. And that's it, all right? I'll be here for a few minutes if you still have questions. And Roland is asking, last time when you told us about future libraries that are coming, you talked about authentication framework that was in the works. Is this still happening? It is. It is still happening. It's actually, the framework is 95% done already, okay? And we have provided even a beta for some customers. I believe, Roland, have you received it? I believe you received it, right? A beta version of it. So what we have to do is document it. So, and okay, let me know if you had problems downloading it, because it should be there for you, okay? And the XAuth is the name. TMS XAuth is it's one of our main tasks for the next month. So we hope to have it released in the next month. We will be working for that. Who would prefer SQS over MQTT? It's different thing. SQS is something for you to put something in the queue and then retrieve it to process. It's a message queue. I believe MQTT, it's not like that. It's a synchronous messaging system, isn't it? And it's more targeted to IoT, while SQS is more for enterprise. For example, we use SQS to hold information about the emails bounced from Amazon. So we don't have to process those bounces immediately. So it's a kind of temporary database that you put data there, process, and remove the data. About Julius has an interesting question. So upset that Workflow Studio has been declared dead. It's not been declared dead. I tried to integrate it with the modern application, and it's really hard because of its deprecated basis. It's not deprecated. Let me explain it. The only way I could figure out was to have a standalone Windows program to deal with the BPM stuff and visual components. But this product is priceless. You mean with this Octopus project, we can find all the non-visual functionality, and that is also supports Aurelius? Yes. I not say all, because it's different product, so there's something that might be missing. But yes, it has all the engine workflow and using Aurelius and in a way that it's multi-threaded, it's cross-platform and things like that. Workflow Studio is not declared dead or deprecated. It's just that it will be evolved. It's being evolved, but its architecture doesn't allow us to move it to the cloud, to multi-threaded applications, and to other platforms. It's not possible. It's just like the VCL, and Embarcadero released FMX because they could not make the VCL cross-platform, because VCL was based on Windows API. It has some structures. It would be I don't know, bad technical decision, I think, to make the VCL cross-platform. So we had to write it from scratch, okay? But those two products will be evolving in parallel. Of course, Workflow Studio is a stable product, so there is not much to be added to it in terms of architecture or bug fix and things like that. We have Scripter Studio integrated with Workflow Studio. But Scripter, it's only needed because Workflow Studio lacks many blocks. It's not that it lacks. It's just that Scripter allows you to use it quickly without having to create blocks. The idea of Octopus BPM is that it's more robust, is that you write your code, real Delphi code for your blocks, and that we provide more ready-to-use blocks. Okay. I plan on using TMS Xdata together with TMS Web Core. Is there an upsell to get Xdata? Yes. Contact us. Contact our sales team. There is an upsell for Web Core users. Any plans for FNC barcoding reading? I don't know. I'm not part of any FNC team. I mean, I'm in contact with them, of course, but I don't know what is current plans for FNC Ed. So sorry about that. Okay. That's it, guys. Anything else? If not, okay, we have more here. Great. Do you have any instructions for installing your AWS SDK? Okay, I ask it because I have downloaded and zipped, and when I build AWS core, I get bcl.inc not found. Okay, thanks for the feedback. This is probably because it's using bcl.inc from the source code. I check that because it works for, if you have, what you can try is for now is to find the folder where the bcl.inc is located and add it to your library path. Don't forget to remove it later, just for you to compile the packages. But I will review to the source codes to remove this requirement for bcl.inc, because it works for me because I have the source code of TMS Business pointed, library pointed in the library path, and you have the DCUs. So that's the reason. If you have time, drop me an email so I can treat it as a ticket and treat it properly. I might forget if we are just talking here. Okay, Mika solved the FNC problem. Great. An evergreen question. Sorry, any news on Postgres native driver? Yeah, Julia, sorry about that. As I said, we will release Xauth before the Postgres native driver. It's something that we consider it more urgent. We have more customers needing for it, having a need for it, and the Postgres driver, of course, currently you are probably living with another solution, FireDeck or whatever you're using. So we have, the plans are the same, no news. We still want to do that, but that will come after Xauth. Okay. Have you had requests for DevArt support? For what exactly, Roland? For Unideck, you mean? Can you please clarify your question? I'm not sure if I understand your question. Aurelius supports Unideck. All right. So from time to time, we have questions for Aurelius users that asking how to set up Unideck, or they have some problem with Unideck connections and Aurelius, things like that. Yes. But if you are asking if we receive support questions about the Unideck components themselves specifically, I don't remember. And if it did happen in the past, we forwarded them to DevArt. Okay, you don't have Unideck, but the Oracle and SQL Server versions. Okay. Yes, we have some customers who had MyDeck, which is the Unideck component specifically for MySQL. And the base source code, DevArt source code, is almost the same. I believe they wrote Unideck and stripped it down to create MyDeck or Oracle Deck or whatever they call it. The components for connecting to a specific database. So it just looks like a stripped down version of Unideck. So we don't officially support those components because it's a nightmare for us to create and run all tests. For you to have an idea, we have 30,000 tests that we run with Aurelius, and it takes almost 2 hours to run because we test all components with all databases. So we don't want to spend time testing my deck, Oracle deck, SQL Server deck against Aurelius. But we know it's working, and we have the my deck version working. And in theory, all you should do is take the Unideck or our version of my deck I can send you and replace the component names. That's pretty much it. Just change the names of the components so you can use it. Again, send me an email. We can discuss about that. Blah, blah, blah. Ed Blanchard, you were asking the attendant here in the chat about a project or myself. If you're asking, that's a topic for a discussion. Feel free to discuss this in that topic. All right. If it derails, you can always open a new topic in our support center. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Let's keep it short so you come next week. Okay. Let's discuss that in the support center. Guys, one question before we leave, just immediate feedback from you. Did you guys like this format? Are you willing to come in the upcoming sessions? Is this something that you think it's added value? Or do you prefer more technical sessions like, okay, let's talk about webinar, about XAuth and how to use this and that? Okay. If you could give me immediate feedback here, I'll be very happy. I appreciate it. And of course, you can also write it in the support center. Okay. Because if you don't have, of course, if you don't have many interested people, we'll shut down the series. But the idea is that we have these short, casual conversations. All right. Again, bring your ideas and topics in the support center. Let me put the link again here. Go there. There will be detailed webinars, but that require more time, though, so that will be less frequent. That's the idea of these webinars. All right. Thanks for coming, guys. See you in the support center and in the next behind the scenes sessions. Bye-bye.